Happy New Year! Hello all, I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein, and no, I'm not late with that greeting. This time it's Chinese New Year's, and I've got some great recipes to ring it in. So join me next on SoFlo Taste. How fun is that? Good morning all, I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein, and I'm front and center in the Goya Kitchen in the Culinary Lab at Florida Education Institute. Gung hei fat choi, and welcome to SoFlo Taste and my Chinese New Year celebration, and the animal passed down from millennia to represent this year on the Chinese calendar is the wood snake. Now calm down, don't worry. There will be no snakes of any kind in my recipes today. And with that promise, let's get cooking. I've always wanted to make egg drop soup, and it's actually really easy and really yummy. So let's jump right in. It should be fast and pretty quick. So I've got chicken stock. You can call it bone broth. You can call it chicken broth. It's up to you, like whatever you want to do, whatever you love. Throw it into a pot. Make sure it tastes nice. To flavor this, we are going to add, traditionally, some sesame oil, a tiny touch of sugar. Now, this one you can omit. It's up to you. MSG. A little salt, white pepper, because you would never use a black pepper in something that is a clear color like a chicken broth. And then finally a little bit of turmeric, and that doesn't add flavor. What it does is just add a beautiful golden hue. All right, let's whisk all that together. And let's bring this heat up to a bit of a simmer. While that gets nice and hot, let's do a couple things. We're gonna crack some eggs, because it is egg drop soup. Okay, let's use a whisk. Go ahead and mix this up. You can actually see the white and the yellow of the egg if you don't mix them too much together. If you really whip them like this, then you're gonna get a little more constant of the yellow. It's really up to you how you wanna do it and what you like. Also, we need a little bit of a slurry, a cornstarch slurry, because you want the soup to be a little thick before you add the egg. Now make sure, if you're gonna add your slurry, that the cornstarch and the water are very well combined before adding it to your soup, because if not, they seem to separate really quickly, cornstarch and water. And if that happens, you're just gonna get a clump. It's never gonna pour out properly, and it's just not gonna be right. And if your soup or broth are simmering, you will notice it come together and thicken like I have very quickly. Next is the ribbons of the egg. And that's up to you how thick or thin you want them to be. You can also just kind of let them set on their own and not whisk up too much, and you have bigger pieces of egg. It's really up to you. The quicker you whisk, the thinner your stream of egg is gonna be, the finer the egg will set into the soup. So I'm gonna let some be thinner and some be a little bit thicker, and whisk it a little bit less, and let that come together and set. The egg cooks very quickly. For garnish, I've got scallions and I have some fried wonton. I mean, who doesn't love the fried wontons, right? If your kids don't like the soup, they can just eat the wontons. And believe it or not, this is actually done. So let me shut this off. It smells delicious. Well, it is chicken soup after all. And it looks beautiful. So let me show you what this looks like. Let's go ahead and pour this into a bowl. So if you can see, we have some bigger pieces of egg and some thinner pieces of egg. I think it's just lovely. Let me give it a little taste before I top it. I want to see. Just lovely. So this is your beautiful soup. So I'm just going to add a little bit of crunchy sea salt right over the top of it. Scatter some scallions around the top, which are lovely because of the egg. They float on the top, which is really nice. And then, of course, a nice stack of wonton. And there you have it, our beautiful egg drop soup. I've got more, so come back to the Goya Kitchen in the Culinary Lab at Florida Education Institute, where I'm celebrating Chinese New Year. I'll be waiting for you. I have 2 beautiful recipes coming up. Can't wait to show them to you.
Come back to SoFlo Taste from the Goya Kitchen at the Culinary Lab at Florida Education Institute, here on Local 10. It's a Milam's Markets Minute. Here's Melinda Harper.
We are in the bakery here at Milam's, and we're here to talk about something near and dear to my heart and to Christy's as well. Bread.
We have a big assortment of fresh baked breads, or it's delivered daily, and also a large variety of pastries.
So along with the wonderful assortments of breads and cookies and pastries and muffins that you sell, cupcakes, you sell something very special at the store. Tell us about that.
So this is our grandmother Joan Milam's famous pound cake recipe. We enjoyed this all the time for holidays, family get-togethers, and she would always bake it fresh. You have to try it with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. It's how we enjoyed it as a family. And it's very popular here, not even just popular with our family, but our customers as well.
So if you need to come out to the bakery to pick up some nice fresh bread, or even come out to try some of Grandma Joan Milam's delicious pound cake, head to a Milam's near you. There are 6 stores, and if you can't make it in person,
just order online and we'll deliver right to your door.
But we hope to see you here.
Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein, but I hope you knew that already. Chinese New Year's falls on the 2nd new moon after the winter solstice. That's why it's not anchored to a specific date, but it does fall between January 21st and February 20th, and I'm happy it does. So I'm going to teach you a recipe. We eat it a lot in the house. It's actually my son Zach's favorite dish. It is Chow, which is a Cantonese dish using wide cut rice noodles. Chow actually means fried noodle. So we're going to fry some noodles. I found some fresh noodles here in SoFlo, but you can also just buy some dried rice noodles and rehydrate them in water. Just make sure they're nice and separated with a little bit of oil before you go ahead and start the dish. You can make different types of chow fun. Today I'm going to make a steak or beef chow fun. I've already marinated this. You don't have to marinate it very long because it's already sliced up nice and thin. We cut it nice and thin, and we just toss it in some light soy, dark soy, and a little bit of cornstarch to kind of bind it up a little bit. This beautiful meat came from one of the 6 SoFlo Milam's markets, by the way. They are very proud of their premium A5 Wagyu beef, the ultimate standard in meat. You can choose tenderloins, New York strips, ribeyes. They're all imported from Japan, if you can believe it, expertly cut and prepared to order. Visit Milam's Market in Coconut Grove, Miami Springs, Pinecrest, Sunny Isles Beach, and Coral Gables East and West. Or milamsmarkets.com, and I'll see y'all there. All right, this is a wok. Please don't laugh at me. I love making things in a wok, but I'm not this isn't my super strength. All right, so let's mix up the sauce that will go into the wok when we finish stir frying everything. So we've got some oyster sauce, some light and dark soy sauce that I mentioned before, that I marinated the beef with, some sesame oil, a little bit of sugar to caramelize everything, and finally, Shaoxing wine, which is a Chinese rice wine. It's really delicious. It's kind of like the Chinese answer to sherry, as far as I'm concerned. Let's just make sure that this sits over here. This is my cooking oil. My favorite is peanut oil. If you can't use peanut oil because of allergies, you can use your favorite type of vegetable oil. Grapeseed oil is really wonderful. So let me turn up the heat in my wok. I'm gonna just add a little bit. We want it to smoke like it is. Add our meat. All right, so we're just gonna stir fry it real quick. Keep shaking the pan so nothing sticks. We don't want to overcook it because we're going to add it back in a minute. So give it a nice crust and then take everything that's in your pan out. Make sure you have like a little pan I have right here set aside to place everything after you've stir-fried it. All right, we're gonna add a little more oil. We're gonna go ahead and add some Chinese broccoli. It's not something I found in recipes, but I love it, and I love the crunch that it gives and the green that it gives to the recipe, so I added it in. I'm adding a couple more vegetables, however, the garlic, the onion, and the Chinese broccoli need about a minute more than the other vegetables, so I'm adding that in first. Again, constantly shaking. And I'm just using a wooden spoon here. This is what I'm comfortable using. Now there's a lot of tools that you can use for a wok, but this is my kind of comfort zone with a wooden spoon. Make sure you turn your hood on when you cook stir fry because obviously it causes a lot of smoke. You have, it's hot cooking. That's why you can use such a little amount of oil because it's so hot. Okay, let's add in our bean sprout, our scallion. Move this around for just about 30 seconds. You don't want to overcook this at all because, again, it's going back in the pan. Okay, shake that out, and then we put the noodles, and we're almost done. All right, lastly, we have our rice noodle. So one more time with the oil. Add in our rice noodle. You see how beautiful they are? They sometimes when you buy them fresh, they come in sheets and you cut them how you want. Kind of reminds me of pappardelle, the wideness of it. And I cut them in half just to make life a little easier when I stir fry. All right, so we're gonna heat these up to get them nice and soft. As we do that, we'll add everything back in the pan. And I learned this little trick that when you're adding sauce to your wok, the best way to do it is to go around the outside in a circular motion, starting at the top of the pan, and eventually it'll concentrate down to the middle. All right, we're gonna heat this up, let it come all together. The noodles get nice and soft. Serve it, come right back, but first, I'm here in the heart of Coral Gables in the Culinary Lab at Florida Education Institute. Hurry to enroll in classes that start in days. Earn your diploma in culinary arts, pastry and baking arts, associates of applied sciences, or culinary and hospitality management. Graduate from any of these FEI culinary arts programs and begin an exciting new career. For more information, visit fei.edu/culinary-arts. Learn the right way at the Culinary Lab at Florida Education Institute. Come right back. I got a beauty coming up next. Stay tuned to SoFlo Taste. We'll be right back. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. Want today's recipes, but you can't write fast enough to copy them down? So try this. Just scan this quick QR code for a speed of light trip to the SoFlo Shows page, where you can take your time with recipes. You'll also see this QRC on those ingredient lists throughout the day's show. So now, back to the year of the wood snake, with no snakes. I've always wanted to make salt and pepper shrimp the right way. Not that I ever make it the wrong way, but I've never made it this way. So I thought we can make it this way together. I did a lot of reading. This is kind of like a compilation of 4 different Chinese sites. And if you disagree with it, that's fine. The food so far today, by the way, is coming out deliciously, so I'm pretty happy. This is our Chow fun, and it is really fun, if I may say so myself. The noodles are beautifully soft and tender. The beef is delicious. I can't wait for y'all in front of me to eat it. So I'm gonna put it over here, guys, okay? Great. All right. So let's start with salt and pepper shrimp. One recipe, one article I read was really interesting because it talks about that kind of smoky taste that you sometimes get from cooking out of a wok. but not always do you get the taste when you're having salt and pepper shrimp unless it's done the right way with the right wok with, probably years of aging and all that goodness. So what Kenji Lopez Alt, who's one of my favorite chefs, did was he toasted salt in a wok until it became that kind of goldeny dark color that things can turn when you're toasting spices and things like salt, which is pure white. In a wok, it actually caramelizes it. So I did that, combined it with Szechuan peppercorns that make your tongue tingle, and white peppercorns, ground it up in a mortar pestle, and then I got this. It's delicious, and I'm really excited about it, and I'm gonna cover this up later and keep it for a bunch of different recipes. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about a cacio e pepe with this. I have that in my head later. All right, so that was one thing. Another thing that I read said that it was really good to brine your shrimp before you cook it so that you get the most out of it. So this is baking soda, salt, and water. So these have been deveined. I trimmed a little bit of the feet and just cleaned it up a little bit. And this we let kind of be for about an hour, drained it, dried it, tossed it with cornstarch, and now you have this. Very little cornstarch, by the way. So the first thing you do is you fry the shrimp. Not stir fry, but fry the shrimp. So I have, again, I love peanut oil for this type of recipe, but if you can't have peanut oil, again, your favorite type of frying oil. Mine would be grapeseed, but it's kind of expensive to use all the grapeseed oil on frying, so it's up to you. So you don't want to crowd your pan when you fry anything, so I'm just going to put enough so that I don't crowd the shrimp, and we don't have to cook them for very long. They're not huge. This is called a U10 shrimp, which means there's 10 shrimp to a pound. If it's a 1620, it means it's somewhere between 16 and 20 shrimp to a pound, just so you know. Thinking I can add one more so that I don't overcrowd this thing. All right, there we go. So let's just fry this for about 30 to 45 seconds. My wok is getting hot. What we're gonna do is first start by cooking the garlic, which is really important that the garlic gets really toasty, not burnt. So let me add a little bit of oil. And once it starts smoking the tiniest bit, we're gonna cook the garlic until it's nice and caramelized. Let's take a look at the shrimp, flip them all over, and then we're gonna pull them out of the pan. Now these shrimp do have the shell on. My favorite salt and pepper shrimp are done with a shell on. If you don't like the shell, then you don't have to do this, but I would ask you not to brine your shrimp. The reason why I'm able to brine the shrimp is because it has the shell on, and the saltiness doesn't affect the meat of the shrimp as much because the shell is on. So shell off, no brining, shell on, brine. Got it? Okay. So these are about ready. I'm going to shut my heat off, and I'm going to pull these gorgeous, now crispy shrimp out of the pan. So the shell is on, but I did devein them. And how you do that is by using a scissor to cut up the back of the shrimp, and then you pull whatever you need to pull out of the back. Okay, my wok is just starting to smoke. Good timing. So let's go ahead and add the garlic. I have a little spoon with holes in it to remove the garlic as soon as it turns golden. It's turning golden, so I'm going to start taking the garlic out and putting it right next to the shrimp. Just like so. The next thing you do, leave the oil in there, add some chilies. So this is where the spiciness comes from. I was asked to use a long hot chili for this. I wasn't sure what that meant, so I just used my favorite chilies. This is a combination of serrano chilies, and red jalapenos, or fresnos, same word. All right, now we're gonna add the shrimp back in here. We're gonna add the garlic back in there. We are going to finally season it with this beautiful toasted salt, white peppercorn, and Szechuan peppercorn. Stir fry it for just a few seconds. When you come right back, let's see what it tastes like. SoFlo Taste will return right after this. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. Check out my salt and pepper shrimp. It smells so delicious in here. It's such a savory scent. And the Szechuan peppercorns and the white peppercorn, it's just delicious. And then check out how the chilies have kind of softened up around the crispy garlic. I cannot wait to sink my teeth into this, and I bet a couple of the guys in front of me might be excited about it too. According to the Chinese calendar, this year of the wood snake promises a year of wisdom, growth, and renewal. We'll see. And doesn't that sound good? With these recipes, there's no wonder why Chinese food is the most popular ethnic cuisine in the United States. That's crazy. How can 1.5 billion Chinese be wrong? Try these. You might like them better than your usual takeout. So taste buds, I love cooking for you, and that's a good thing because after all, I am a chef. I'll see you here next week for more good food. Goodbye, mwah, and good taste, and Happy New Year. Gung Hei Fat Choi.